Just a little bit of an impromptu video today. Blah, blah, blah. Woke up this morning, sounded like she dropped a spark plug, misfiring no end. Got video footage of that. I will stick that in this video as well. So I've got some new spark plugs which I'm going to put in. I was hoping to service her actually in about a couple of weeks, but I've hammered to do it today because I am having to change the spark plugs anyway because she dropped a spark plug. But while she's in pieces like this, I might as well do the oil as well, so I'm going to do that all together. But one thing I've discovered today was that somebody had put the wrong spark plugs in. There's two types of spark plugs that can fit in this bike, and one's actually rated for cold weather, whereas the other one's not. And they'd put the ones in, obviously, that wasn't rated for cold weather. So I've got a feeling that's what's caused the problem. But obviously, if you're ever doing your own servicing and stuff with spark plugs, obviously there's very things you need to be very wary of. When you get your new spark plugs, just check it with your previous spark plug to make sure that they're working okay, and obviously always check to make sure the gap's fine, that nobody's dropped it and bent the gap. That's it really. When you're putting them in, be very, very careful that you don't cross thread it, especially in a head that's aluminium like this bike is, because that will really knacker things up. So, and because of the position where I've got to put this, unfortunately I'm not going to be able to show you putting this one in. So hopefully I might be able to show you putting the rear ones in. So I'm going to go and stick these in, and I shall be back with you shortly. Strange. Sweating. I keep thinking I've chopped my head off. I'm not quite sure if I have or if it's just this screen, but I might have just chopped the top of my head off. Anyway, while I'm waiting for the oil to drain, let's talk about oil, specifically numbers, shall we? So there we go. Right, so on oil, you will always notice that there are two numbers, 10W14. This means it's a multi-grade oil, so it has two grades. Years ago, we're talking about 50, well, more than 50 years ago, because multi-grade oil has been around about 50 years. But what you'd used to have to do would be change the oil in summer and winter. So you'd need a thicker, because it'd be only single grade rather than multi-grade. So you'd need, in the winter, you'd need something like a 10W, and then in the summer you'd change to a 14. It just basically means the thickness. So that's the viscosity, thickness of the oil when it gets to certain temperatures. So below freezing, and we're getting down to about -10, okay, W stands for winter, by the way, nothing else, not weight, not watts, nothing, stands for winter. So in winter, the thinnest this gets is 10, that's the viscosity, basically. Or rather the maximum viscosity, or the maximum coldness it can go down to, is -10 degrees. Anything with a 40 means that over 100 degrees centigrade, it's keeping as much viscosity as possible. If it's a 30, then it's an even thinner oil. If it's a 20, again, it's an even thinner oil. So because this is a 2001 bike, because I've done about 60,000 miles, I'm going with a 1040. Because I don't need to go any, it's not going to get really cold this winter, so I'm going down to a 1040. I could have a 540 if I wanted to, but I'm going for a 10. 5 would mean that it's -5 temperatures the engine oil will be suitable for, but this is suitable for down to -10. So it just helps it when it's cold starting. It doesn't put so much strain on the battery, doesn't put so much strain on the engine or the starter motor. I hope you understood that. If you didn't, please leave a comment down in the comment section and tell me you didn't. Okay, so I am now going to put this into the engine with the, well, I've got to put the oil filter on, then I'm going to put it into the engine. So catch me later. To give you an idea of viscosity, this is how thick. So it's nice and thick, and that's what he's talking about. So this will operate, this oil will allow you to operate into temperatures as low as -10 and as high as 100 degrees, and that's in centigrade. I have no idea what it is in Fahrenheit because I don't work in Fahrenheit. So basically what that means is it doesn't break down so much. So obviously if the engine gets really hot, there's less likelihood of the oil breaking down early. And the same as when it's winter, it's less likelihood of it getting really thick and actually affecting your starting, because it's too thick and puts too much of a strain on your battery and your starter motor and your solenoid, which is what you don't want. And remember, on a motorcycle, the oil has to cover both the engine and the gearbox. And I need to put about 3.1 litres in this because he's had a, because obviously the oil filter, and never change the oil and leave the old oil filter on, because you're asking for problems, should I say, with, if you leave the oil filter on. The whole purpose of an oil filter is to actually pick up any metallic items. Some oil filters do have magnets in there to pick up any kind of fine metallic items. It's usually when you're crunching your gears and stuff. And the other thing that I seem to remember, or not seem to remember, a lot of people don't realise that on a motorcycle it has a wet clutch, which means the actual clutch is bathed in oil, which is not the same on a car, which means that's why you can slip it. And that's the other reason why you need a good quality oil, because obviously it will get really hot on the friction plates if you slip it too much. Oh, the only downside to this is that I'm having to bend in a very funny position. Anyway, so there you go. I'm putting the oil in. I'm going to give her a run up and take her for a test ride out later. And then I'm going to go and put all this together in a video for tomorrow, which is a bit of a change from the programme I was originally going to do. But never mind. I'm sure you'll appreciate this. Right guys, I'm going to say now, thank you very much for watching. If you do like this video, that's very impromptu, very off the cuff, spare of the moment thing, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I am a qualified mechanic as well, so if you've got any questions, please ask. I've got no problems in answering your questions. And don't forget to catch me on Facebook, tweet me at Nige-Rider, and stalk me on Instagram. Catch you all guys later. Bye.